Hi, everyone. And thank you so much for joining us today. I'm Yulia, your co-host for this exciting session, and we're thrilled to have you here with us. We've got 6 incredible companies with us today, from resource planning, release management, to backup strategies. We're covering it all. So you will hear from expert speakers, explore real-world use cases, and get exclusive offers that you won't want to miss. So here's how today's 90-minute session will flow. Firstly, each of our feature speakers will have 10-15 minutes to showcase their app. Then also don't forget to join in the live chat, answer our polls, and submit your questions through the QA feature. Then we will wrap up with a dedicated 15 minutes QA session at the end, and so save your burning questions for that as well. Did I mention that exclusive discounts and offers? Stay tuned for those, as every company presented today has something very special for you. So let's kick off today's webinar. Now I would like to hand it over to my co-host, Chad, who will take us through the next part of the webinar. Chad, the floor is yours.
Awesome. Thank you, Yulia. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the webinar. We're super excited to be, combining six partners here to talk about, different things that have to do with Jira and how to optimize your Jira listings and your Jira applications. So once again, if you have any questions, please ask them inside of the message area. We will be answering them during each webinar. But yes, once again, we will be passing over to each of our partners to talk about each of their integrations and their topics. So without further ado, I will pass it away to Leo from Move Work Forward First, the co-founder. Leo's going to touch on game-changing integrations for Microsoft and Atlassian. So without further ado, I'll pass it over to Leo.
Hi everyone, my name is Leo. Sorry, the camera is down. And I will start by sharing that no one uses Atlassian tools in isolation. Everyone uses Atlassian tools for work as well as tools from other vendors like Microsoft, Google Workspace, Monday, CRM, whatever you name it. People use tools in combination. However, I will be focusing today on Microsoft and Atlassian tools, mostly Jira, but not only. So what would you expect in my presentation is that you will see a live demo, hopefully internet does not betray me, of integration of Microsoft tools like Microsoft Teams and Azure DevOps with Jira and Confluence to see how you can streamline your work, how you can leverage the same integrations to improve your communication, documentation, speed up development process, be more transparent, and last but not least, you can use Jira automation on top of all of this to automate things, make stuff more efficiently, and have all in one place to be visible and automatically updated. So let's jump into a demo. Imagine we have a small software company which builds a website for a trail running competition. So realistically, again, it will be a project in Jira which unites all your development work. As you see, this project is to build a simple website, and all development work is linked in the linked issue which lives in separated project. Of course, you want to know when something important happens, and for this, you will set up notifications to Microsoft Teams, which will be looking like this. In case an issue was transitioned or it was commented, you will have notifications to Teams. I will quickly show you how it looks and how it all will come together a bit later. So, using advanced Microsoft Teams Jira connector, you can configure very precisely when you want to receive notifications, and also, like in this case, it's for Project Central. We will have notifications in particular channel, but we don't have anything else to simplify this demo. But on top of this, you can of course configure what you will get when exactly, and so on and so forth. The same information we have for development team in totally other channel. We have dev team and we have our project team. So now, as usually, we would use Confluence to create draft of those pages with nice visuals and so on, but also our development team inserted some Azure DevOps work items to kind of unite everything in one place. So in Confluence, you see not only your documentation for your site you develop, but as well as your work item from Microsoft tool, which is called Azure DevOps. However, in this case, I would like to start development on this website. And of course, we track work in Jira, but for this particular scenario, we use Azure DevOps to host our code, run builds, deployments, and do other code-related activities. So let's build a homepage. For this, I will assign an issue to myself already, and I will start working. Let's imagine I forgot to transition an issue, and I will jump into Azure DevOps, go to my repo, do an amazing change. So very quick one. Just remove the dot, and I will do a commit related to my issue in a feature branch, which is also related to my issue. So this indicated that I started working on a particular feature. As a result, Jira automation should automatically trigger my issue into progress, as well as integration, which is done by Mover Forward, will bring all data from Azure DevOps into Jira. So you should be able to see all your commits, pull requests, deployments and builds on the issue itself. So as you see, issue was transitioned, and as you see, we have some commits already. We have builds and other things. So let me quickly show you how it looks in Jira. So this is commit I've done just now. We don't have anything else, but so basically now let's assume that I've done my work well and I need to do a pull request. So for this one, I create a pull request in Azure DevOps. Let's approve it. And yet again, I forgot to help pass transition issue from current status to review status, which this project has. So Jira does not reflect this automatically. As you see, you may need to refresh issue sometimes, but it was transitioned. And now when pull request is merged, let's approve it and complete. This will, in Jira, of course, show us that the build will kick off, as well as some deployment will start. So this is my previous run, just to demonstrate you that all feature-related work is now shown in your software panel for your software projects in Jira, like builds, as well as deployment to different stages. Let me also show you how automation is done here. So there is no dark magic. It's a combination of a few integrations, integrating Azure DevOps with Jira and Microsoft Teams, plus using Jira automation to do some stuff for us. So we are more transparent, and we keep everyone in the loop what's going on. Okay, Atlassian, please load. So I have created two rules. One is pretty simple. When commit is created, transition issue to in progress. More or less this ensures, and then we have the actor. So this ensures that issue is transitioned. And then another rule which I've got is when a pull request is created, transition issue to review. So simple, very simple rules, but they help keep stuff up to date. And last but not least, as you see here in Microsoft Teams, we receive some notifications that issue transitioned from our development panel in review state. We have project story, but of course all this configured. And for example, for our project central, for our Jira project where we maintain our project work, it's the same. So we can use comments to update the status of projects and so on. So more or less, this is a demo. You've seen how we used Jira Confluence integrated with Microsoft Teams and Azure DevOps to streamline work, to be more transparent. And probably one last hint I want to share, if you use Microsoft Teams, we highly recommend, and we've seen many customers use, they set up separated channels only for notifications, and they name them separately. So for example, we've seen often, and we use ourselves, dash feed when a third-party system sends notifications. So to separate noisy channels built by automation from channels where people communicate. If there is a big overlap, messages get lost. So those are my comments and recommendations for you. And chat, thank you, and everyone, thank you for your demo. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them later.
Awesome. Leo, thank you so much. Once again, you guys can ask any questions for any of the speakers inside of the chat. Let me share the promotion for Move Work Forwards. Once again, this was what we were able to do. Again, the camera might be working. But anyways, we are going to pass it on next to optimizing your resource planning and time tracking with ActivityTimeline for Jira. And this is featuring Reliex and Svetlana. So I will pass it over to Svetlana and Reliex.
Yep. Let me start sharing my screen. Hi, everyone. Okay, hope you can see it. So my name is Svetlana, and I'm a customer success manager at ActivityTimeline, Reliex. So ActivityTimeline solves two big challenges that Jira unfortunately doesn't cover, which is resource planning and time tracking. So we will talk a little bit about that today. So what are those common challenges that may sound familiar to you? Let's say overcommitting resources. You plan too much work for your resources, and eventually they cannot complete it on time. Or you don't know if you can change your plans because the project is already in progress, and if you change something, what will happen? Or moreover, someone wants to take a vacation or leave the company, and again, you don't know what will happen with your project. So let's take a quick poll and see if any of those challenges sound familiar to you. Just give me a second. You should see the question coming in a moment. Okay. All right, so I see some great results. Let me share them with you. Okay, so yes, and definitely yes, that happens. So going back to our presentation, we'll tell you how to solve it. So ActivityTimeline is an add-on for Jira that answers simple but yet very important questions. Who is doing what, when it will be done, as well as where my team's time is getting spent. So in Jira, we have a lot of projects, we have a lot of boards, and ActivityTimeline, what it does, it actually unites all those boards into one view, allowing you to see everything at glance. So one view for all of your projects, all of your cross-functional teams, and so on. So the planner module in ActivityTimeline is where magic happens. It brings, again, everything together and helps you see who is working on what, the deadlines, the statuses, everything together. So calendar view shows you basically schedule in a real time. Whatever changes you make in your Jira will be reflected in here. And as simple as it is, each row represents your team member, and each column represents either a day of the week or a week of the month. So it does give you this calendar-like view, but in addition to that, it also solves another problem and shows you whether what is scheduled over here can fit users' capacity. On the left side, right near user's name, you can see workload indicator. So you can see data in hours, percentage, days, or as simple as it is, you can simply look at the colors and right away see whether your users are over-allocated, under-allocated, meaning they are assigned to too much work, too little, or someone is completely free. Let's say Amy in here for those 4 weeks, definitely over-allocated, and Bob in here is almost free. So we can switch some schedules and make it better, so balance our workload. The effortless scheduling is also one of the features that we offer, where you have your backlog on the left and simply drag and drop tasks to your users to have it scheduled. So it's one place where you make changes, you right away see the results. So unlike in Jira, you have many boards. You don't know if your teammate is working on anything else. Here you see that, you manage that, as well as you can see, you manage the time off in here. So all of those problems where you don't know what's happening with your team schedule or with your project's deadlines are solved here. But then the next question was where my team is getting spend their time, that's the next modules that we offer. So it is very difficult to make users actually track time. That is why we created a single view for the user, like individual workspace, where they can see their tasks, so what they are assigned to. They can simply and quickly create days off or move around their assignments, as well as the chart view quickly helps them to see, okay, am I good with my time tracking? Do I need to track more time or so? So this is all in one nice view, and users can quickly track it, as well as share and download their timesheets, so to have proof that they did time tracking this week. That's individual view, but then the next question would be for the manager, where can they see all of those worklogs? Usually it should be one nice place for the nice overview. So for that, we have a track module. This unites all of those worklogs and gives you more than regular timesheets, but some advanced reporting. The feature that we usually are asked about is the planned versus actual. So, okay, this is my plan for the user, but did he do that? Did he do more than I planned for him? So this report answers that. Moreover, this is a good report to quickly see if your users do time tracking. And if not, you can go send them message in Slack or so, just to remind them that they still need to do that. This is just the advanced features of this report, but we also have the standard reports, timesheet reports, which can be in different views and can be as well grouped differently. So let's say this one is a nice overview, as well, again, color coded. So we do love colors that can help you to quickly see and basically spot those bottlenecks. So let's say here we can see right away that users tracked more time than they have to. Definitely their capacity was about 40 hours, but they logged 46. As well as we can see the breakdown. So in my example, we have timesheets grouped by project and then a user. This gives us a perfect opportunity to see total numbers spent on the project, as well as quickly see who actually is working on that project. So we got the timeline covered, but then we also can have a view that shows us in very detailed view all the worklogs, all the time entries, as well as here you can extend the report. So this report is mostly used by our customers for financial side of things. So you can have as well the approval process and quickly download the report and bill your customer. So just tell them, here is what we did, time to pay. So this is a great report for that. Those were reports for the time tracking and our worklogs. But then what I showed you at the start, the report module is more covered for the forecasting reports. So in here, this is like your way and your view to make your data-driven decisions. So you can quickly see by generating one of those reports, okay, what are your bottlenecks, how you planned your team without going into details like we did on the planner. So let's say, take some examples. Resource utilization forecast. This report can predict resource use and help you avoid bottlenecks before they happen. Quickly, again, you can see whether users are over-allocated, under-allocated, or so. You can have it also detailed by epics, initiatives, or whatever hierarchy you use, as well as the red color not only indicates that users are over-allocated, but it also tells you that there is something wrong probably with the deadlines. So maybe the project will not happen on time. So great to see and track. Then you can also have a high-level report. So not looking at your individuals. Let's say you are a senior manager and just want to see if you still have resources. You can generate some charts like team capacity chart, which can quickly tell you, let's say this week, September 9, 15, definitely my team is over-allocated. my designers team. So to mention, we also give a possibility to track and add skills and positions to users and later on use it for planning. And this data can be also seen in another view like a pie chart. To have that all together, you can integrate our reports to Jira dashboards and share with your senior management who doesn't want to go into apps and open each one individually, so you can prepare everything for them and they can have this quick overview at glance. So to talk about some results, I did have a short interview with James Gibson. He's a group integration manager at IMCD Group, and he shared his way, what led him to ActivityTimeline, and how actually they are using it. So James told me that they had struggles with inconsistent time tracking. It was really difficult to make users track time, and really difficult for users to understand if they did it and did it correctly. So they were looking for a solution to improve visibility over time tracking. So quoting James, we also wanted something that could help us with the resource planning side of things. So they found ActivityTimeline and they stuck with it. Basically, the huge advantage of ActivityTimeline is that it unites both resource planning and time tracking, huge gaps that Jira doesn't cover. As a result, they reduced the time required for invoicing from 5 minutes to 1 minute, so saving manager hours, as well as they definitely improved the visibility into time spent. So right now, it led to better project outcomes and definitely more money, which is always great. So if you are excited to explore ActivityTimeline further, just scan this QR code, visit our page on the Atlassian Marketplace. You can read reviews, see more details, or start trial. If you'd like to learn more about resource planning or time tracking in Jira, you want to talk with me directly, you can also scan QR code to my LinkedIn and we can talk further there, as well as we do offer free demos, so feel free to reach out. That's it from me. Passing over to Chet.
Thank you, Svetlana. Awesome stuff. We are now going to pass it
you.
over to our friends over at SaaSJet, and they are going to be talking about busy but not productive, uncovering bottlenecks and blockers, and that will be with Vitaly, the partner manager over at SaaSJet. Vitaly, take it away.
Hi everyone, I'm Vitaly from SaaSJet. I'm delighted to meet you guys, and it's an honor to be a speaker to this event. Just a moment. Let me share. Okay, today I'm planning to dig into the time management subject with our product, time status. Okay. The tagline of my presentation is busy but not productive. So sometimes the team is overwhelmed with work, but there are no appropriate results. The time status contributed to convenient experience, okay, uncovering the bottlenecks and blockers within any Jira process. Okay, a few words about our company. We are SaaSJet. We are Platinum Atlassian Marketplace partner. We have been working on the Atlassian Marketplace since 2018, and we offer to our customers the variety of add-ons for Jira Cloud aimed at streamlining the workflow and improving the team efficiently and effective. So what the time status is. Time status is the time management product, and the purpose is the measuring the time the Jira issue spent in each status. So having the time status data, manager or management scope can do any data-driven decisions and management decisions. So as we highlighted, the benefits is the improving the performance analysis, actionable data, transformative insights, customizable reports, etc. So the next slide in my presentation is the necessity of the timing status for every Jira user. Sometimes, usually, teams use the workflow as just as a list of statuses. The time status calculates and processes the statuses. As a result, you can have the data based on the statuses, and you can visualize how the workload works actually. For example, as on the screenshot, I have on the left side just the separate statuses, but on the right side, I have the charts that reflect me the data regarding to each status from my workflow. So how time status works? As I mentioned, the time status calculates the time to each status. Therefore, I can have the awarenesses, how much time the particular Jira issue spent in each status from the to-do to done state, and see the data for the certain statuses that required for a particular team. For example, I see that in review status has taken 2 days, 8 hours, 13 minutes, and probably this is okay by my internal requirements or not. Just a joke between the time management terms. The sense of this picture is the adjustment, the time management is pretty difficult, notably when we are working on the massive scope of data, for example, cross-project data. And actually, such a manner is doomed to fail. Therefore, the time status is the required tool for each team. Next, the team and I collected most of popular use cases and problems the time status can solve. So, for example, why some developers spending significantly more time on task in critical statuses in progress, review, code review, or deployment. Or, for example, which circumstances cause the deployment process taking longer time than expected, or what is the recurrent blockers in the process or in the workflow. If you find any, even though one question fits your problems, you should familiarize yourself with the time and status. The next part of my speech, I'd like to outline the key features and prospects that time status proposes to customers. The time status gives you the customizable report, and the time status executes the calculation based on the 7 different methods, so including the time status, assignee time, average time, status count, transition count, and status entry date. So those kinds of reports would help the manager get the additional bottlenecks and insights while reviewing the data. The plus time status supports the flexible filtering methods, so you can construct the report based on the project or multiple project level, based on the Jira filter, GQL, assignee, or reporter role. Okay, and also the most required use case among our audience and audience on the Atlassian Marketplace is the measuring the cycle, lead time, or any custom calculations. The time status allows to create the independent columns, including the only the necessary scope of statuses to calculate the cycle time, lead time. Except for the table or grid view, time status can visualize the data, since charts are considered to be the most effective way to report and read the data. Time status supports charts for the calculations. For example, right now you can see the column chart, okay, and this is the opportunity to, of course, visualize the data and compare the time status calculation between monthly periods, monthly durations, and see how the time increasing or decreasing between periods. Okay. One of the benefits of the time status is that you can use your existing time status reports or charts on the Jira dashboard. Our product supports the gadget, and you can have unlimited number of time status widgets on the same board. So you can compare the information between projects, teams, or individual level, or for example, you can have the time status data plus average time. Okay, the next view time status supports is called the pivot table. In the pivot table, our customers can execute any unique business cases. Our pivot table allows to configure and manage the rows and columns, including the time status data. So in other words, you can get the Jira properties or native Jira values in tandem with the time status calculations to combine any custom views. Time status also supports the extraction process. So you can export the data from the time status to Excel, or wherever you can integrate the data from time status with any business intelligence tools, such as the Power BI, EasyBI, Google Spreadsheet, or just display the data on the contents page. Furthermore, you can have the time status data outside the add-on. Inside the Jira issues, time status creates a custom field and automatically populate the data into a field, plus into the issue panel. So not having to run the time status every single time, you need to check the data. You can just open the Jira issue and have the data on a cut layout or inside the right panel. Okay, next key feature is the sprint performance report. So with the arrival of the sprint report, the time status opened a new chapter on its history. We merged a few remarkable business metrics on the same view, plus the status time. So in the sprint performance report, you can find the team velocity, development workload, completion rate, and see the status time. This view would help to a product manager or Scrum Master to save a time on the or reviewing the data, because all of the metrics are kept in one place, in one board. Okay, we propose to our to whom who attended the meeting the special sale proposals. It is the 50% discount for monthly or 20% for annual subscriptions. Just use the QR code you can see in my slide and have the promo code for the discount. Okay, so if you have any questions, any queries, you can contact my colleague from the support, or you can book a meeting to have the education product demo with the time status. I'll be happy to meet you within the one-to-one virtual demo and speak deeply about your business case, questions, and present how the time status can solve your original problems and how you can implement the time status tool in your organization. Thank you very much for your attention and for your time.
Thank you, Vitaly. Appreciate it. All righty. A lot of good presentations so far. We are going to now kick it over to our friends over at OBoard. OBoard is talking about how to boost team performance with OKRs in Jira. And this will be featuring Margot, who is a product marketing manager over at OBoard. So Margot, take it away.
Thank you for the intro, Chad. I'm so happy to be here with all of you. It's a little bit, I'm sorry that we cannot see faces of each other, but maybe, maybe you can drop in a chat, like where are you from and your job title, so that I can better understand the audience. It would really help me with my speech. And I would like to start with a quick poll. I will talk about OKRs, and I want to ask you about the experience that you have with this, or you don't have. So quick question, have you used OKRs in your current role or previous teams? Okay, I'll just give you a couple of seconds and share the results soon. I see. Should I wait for someone else? Okay, let's look at the OKRs. So 67% are actively using them. It's amazing. Happy to hear that. There are also some people who are new to the concept. I'll explain it in just a minute. And also, please free to put any questions in the chat. Let's get back to my presentation. So OKRs can really boost your team performance. And there are specific tools that can help you here. But before we jump to the tools, I would like to quickly introduce the concept, the basic principles, the top tips that we use internally and that we recommend to our customers. So let's move on. A couple of words about me. As you may guess, I'm an OKR enthusiast. I'm a Ukrainian, but I'm living now in Bulgaria, and I'm a huge mountain lover. So if anyone else is, please, we can reach out to me and we can talk about that as well. So right now, I will share a quick intro to OKRs, a couple of tips for effective implementation. Then I will do a quick product demo. And we will also have an ongoing Q&A in the chat with the head of customer success at OBoard. So also, while I'm presenting, please feel free to put any questions you have. OKRs stand for Objectives and Key Results, and it's a goal-setting methodology, which is based on very action-oriented objectives and measurable key results. Sounds a little bit complicated, but we'll get there in a moment. This is a very simple personal example. So let's say, as a person, I want to use OKRs and I want to learn to cook like a chef. And I'm a very kind of newbie here, so I can measure my success moving forward as learning new recipes, a specific number of them, hosting dinner parties, and reducing takeout meals. So this will help me with my huge objective. If we're talking business oriented, it's a little bit more complicated, but the approach is the same. So for example, a good company goal could be delivering great value to the customers, and it can be measured by increased customer retention rate and then promoter score, because like if customers love us, they obviously they don't go elsewhere and they recommend us to their peers. These are some companies, really great companies that use OKRs. They started at Intel, they get popularized by Google, and actually Atlassian, everyone I guess knows here whose Atlassian is. They also use OKRs, and if it helps so many companies, it should help you as well. These are some of the companies we are very proud to work on with OKRs. They're from different industries, so we have Panasonic Industrial Devices, we have a gaming company, CD Projekt Red, and we're having a Metro Bank from the financial industry. So all of them very different, but still benefit from OKRs. And again, many different countries, and it's only from our experience. We're here for 5 years, and many companies who are longer in business use them for much longer than we do. So how can OKRs help your team? They actually help to be focused, to be aligned with each other, especially when you have multiple departments and a lot of people in a team, help people to be more committed, help with tracking because you have very specific measures. And with OKRs, you are stretching for more, you're trying to achieve more. And these are my top 5 tips before we jump into tool. So I would recommend to start implementation at the level where you already are. So if you're C-level executive, you can start with company OKRs. If you're department team lead, start with your department. If you're individual professional, you can use your individual professional OKRs. So like the example I had with the chef, but you can do it for your job, obviously. You should strictly limit your OKRs, focus on the end results, build OKRs together with your team, closely collaborating and polishing them, and obviously connect your Jira issues to your OKRs. Coming to the app, we're very proud to be #1 OKR app in the marketplace. So you can check it. You can go to the Atlassian Marketplace, search for OKRs, and you will find us right here and right here. So this is our app for Jira, and this is our app for Confluence. So how would your OKR process look like with OBoard? Let me take you to your potential future right here. This is the future backlog that you can see in an app. And here you can create your objectives really easily. So you can choose would it be a company objective or a department objective, just for the test purposes. And you can decide how you would measure this, by percentages, binary, or by numbers. I've recreated some of the information so that we won't spend too much time on this. So I'll just switch the intervals here. And it's quite sophisticated goal tree, which you can use for planning or for exploring bottlenecks. And after you do your brainstorming, you move it to your planned period of time. You can go further and you can do very detailed planning. It can come, from your year and your company goal to your department goal, and it can move down into very specific key results which are connected to the Jira issues. And what is really great here is that you don't need to do all the tracking and analysis manually. So once you connect your Jira issues, you automatically get the score. And you can even assign some specific weight if you believe that some Jira issues has a bigger impact here. So it's very flexible and very powerful. You can also go to the classic table view and add so many different default and custom fields to work on it. You can do your check-ins here, and you can even collaborate with your team. So let's see here. Klaus is sending me a reminder to share an update on my objective, and I'm sharing it right here. So it's not only a number; it's adding context to it. And we also have a couple of reports. So by default, you are getting a homepage where you can filter by people, you can filter by departments. We also have a dashboard with all the critical numbers, and you can build your custom reports, select specific goals, and they would put together in a nice report that you can share with your leadership. So this is the basics about the app. If you have any specific questions, please put them in the chat, because we are a little bit short on the time. Right now, after you do what I shared, you just reflect on the cycle and repeat it. These are the features I would like to highlight. So for all users, we provide free seats at OKR training program so that they can get more experience, get more knowledge. Here, we provide custom OKR fields, which help really to customize your experience to the specifics of your team. We also do private OKRs, which is a little bit controversial, but it's important for many regulated industries, so we're having it here. And if we're talking Atlassian specific, we obviously have a reporting gadget for Jira. You can link your OKRs right from your Jira issues. You can use GQL for the bulk actions. You can sync your users with Jira groups. And by getting Jira app, you can also get a free Confluence OKR app as an addition to it. So these are some of the reviews that I've got from our customers. So all of them say that the app is very easy and it's intuitive to understand how to use it. And at the same time, it's very powerful from the goal setting perspective. These are a couple of alternatives. So if you don't have a budget for an OKR app and you still want to use OKRs, I'm having an article on Medium, how you can use Jira functionality, of course, with some limitations, but still like the free one to set up your OKRs. So this is all from me. Thank you very much for listening. I would love to connect to you, so please scan the QR code. And I'll put some information in the chat. We're having an exclusive promo code for the webinar attendees. So please look for it in the chat, and thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Margot. Great job. All righty, and we're moving on Second to last one we got is release management, managing the surge, structuring cross-project releases in a fast-paced world. And I'm going to kick it over to the co-founder of Release Management, Yuri.
Yeah, thank you, Chad, and hi everybody. It's a pleasure to be here, and thank you for the invitation to join the webinar. Yeah, I believe that you've already been tired with a lot of dynamic presentation, but yeah, just to kind of refresh our mind, let's maybe start a quick poll. It will be super easy, just kind of one question and two options to answer, so yes or no. So yeah, it will not overload you. And while you're answering the poll, in this session, I would like to discuss about release management in complex cross-project releases, and we could be able to see what is a problem and how we can solve. And maybe just first of all, let's meet each other. Unfortunately, I cannot turn the video on, but yeah, my photo is almost the same like I am now, maybe just kind of 10 years before I was look like that. And I started my career as engineer. After that, I moved to project program management role. And during my work, we found some niche which was not very well covered, and we decided to create applications. So this is how release management was created. And together with me on the session will be Yuri Lapin. You cannot be able to hear him, but he could be able to answer your questions in the chat. So if you want to ask a question, do not wait till the end, just write them in the chat and Yuri will answer them right on the way. So maybe we can just quickly see what was the gap and what was the challenge which we found during our work, which led us to for creation of release management. In the past, releases were absolutely different in comparison to current one. It was monolithic solutions with one single application which will be delivered as one artifact, usually on compact disk. You remember Microsoft Office, which was delivered every 2 years, like on one CD. And actually, it was very difficult because we need to deliver this Microsoft Office with a lot of changes, because we're developing it for 2 years. We need to put a lot of features. A lot of features will bring a risk to make a lot of mistakes, a lot of bugs. So we have to avoid it, because if we will release for some version and some product version with a lot of bugs, we cannot be able to quickly fix them, because we need to recall all CDs, deliver new one, or maybe sell a lot of new CDs with service pack. So it was not very easy, and it was brought to a lot of complex solution on program portfolio management to manage quality and invest a lot of things to avoid mistakes. Now everything changed, and in the past, in opposite to monolithic heavy releases, we have multi-component microservices-based solution, and we do not deliver them on CDs or on some other media. So we deploying everything to cloud, and in cloud we can deploy fast, and it's very good because we can make a short time to market. We can compete better with another companies in our field, and we tending to make high frequency releases to deliver our software every day, every hour, every week. So it's going to be super easy. So if we combine those two factors, like a lot of components, microservices, and high frequency of release, we could be able to make it decentralized and not controlled in a very heavy and central way, make it loosely coupled, and we can segregate ownership so that each team will be owning own set of components and own type of solution. And as a result, it will lead to heavily increased amount of releases. So instead of having one release a year or half a year, we are getting 100 or 1,000 releases a quarter, a month, depends on the company inertia and depends on type of product we develop. So if we just move to tooling, which can help to manage all of them, all of us are using Jira, right? Because otherwise we will not be on this call, but maybe not all of them, but I think majority for sure. So in that case, Jira can help us to manage it. So we can just be relaxed and just kind of tell, oh, thanks God, everything is fine and we are in safe position. But actually, no, we are not, because in Jira, releases are organized in some specific way. And first of all, releases are coupled to the projects. So if we will make decentralized ownership, that each team will be delivering some set of components or services. And at some moment of time, these teams would like to make some separate projects to manage the flow in their way. So just to make own custom fields, make some workflow permutations, so do not depend to other teams. And if they will be tracking releases in their Jira project, it will be a pain to collect all of them in one place. Also, we will find that releases in Jira has very limited capability to define workflow. It's only unreleased, released, and archived status, and it's deserved to be more sophisticated and more comprehensive. We cannot add some custom fields. We have very basic automation, and it's push people to develop some other solutions. And of course, you may tell that, yeah, we have plans. In plans, we can make some cross-project releases and manage them in some good way. Maybe we can just use ATSM. For that, maybe we can even create separate Jira project where we can create one issue per release and put all custom fields here and use it as like avatar of a real release. Yeah, and you would be right. It's all happening and people are making such solution. But here is the point that for each company, if there is a need on managing complex releases, the people need to develop bespoke solution and invent own bicycle. And actually, it's not okay because we need to invent this bicycle. Why we should not use some standard solution? So we found ourselves in this situation some time ago, and we start looking for solution. So like, because it should be some solution, but in fact we have not found anything good. So if we have not found any solution, so the best option is create our own solution. And actually here is a problem statement and how release management has appeared. And by the way, getting back to the pool, it was a very kind of small difference between people who are using or not using fixed version. And actually, if I not remember, it was 57% who are using and another amount of persons who are not using. And this already supporting the statement that fixed versions in Jira are quite good and useful, but due to limitation, a lot of people not using it in some good way. So with the release management application, and let's jump to live demo at this stage, we created a tool which helped to consolidate the releases from multiple Jira projects on the same board. And now you see the board, it looks like standard Kanban board, but in fact it is not, because on this board we see each card is release. So for instance, this one is data analytics version 3.0 from DATD project. If I click here, I could be able to see release scope. I could be able to see all the issues. I can add, remove them. So I will move level up and have a helicopter view in order to get all releases that are moving in my company. But we are not limited to fixed version only. One of the most demanding things is creating cross-project releases. We can just select multiple projects for our release, and release management will do all the dirty work under the hood and synchronize, create, update releases in all selected projects and keep them always synchronized. So we can use this cross-project release as one single entity and align the work of multiple teams in case of multiple teams would need to deliver and make a release all together. Just make delivery and make deployment to some of the environments. And by the way, at this moment, I would like to make important note that its main difference of release management from other tools like plans, and that we are making a release-centric view. Instead of considering something done when all the tasks are completed, we're considering something done when release was prepared and deployed on production. Okay, but let's move on. We discussed about fixed versions, about cross-project versions. We can also use Epic as release. It could be useful in some cases. We can pull sprints. So for vanilla Scrum teams, in order to deliver software after each sprint, we don't need to create avatar fixed version. We can just pull sprint and after that handle it as any normal release. And for some extraordinary cases, we can pull on the board virtual release. We can write GQL and deliver everything what is written in this GQL. So as a result, we will get the board, which will show all our releases like building bricks with some scope inside. And instead of monitoring each particular Jira issue, we can start monitoring our building bricks and tracking their progress and moving them from one status to another one and monitoring when the delivery will actually happen. In order to make this process more efficient, we have a few extra tools. First thing, we can extend our releases with custom properties. So we can define a field for rollback plan. Maybe we can make some human readable marketing message which will be used in release notes. Maybe we can just define who is approver, who is owner, what is the release type, and we are not limited because we can define whatever amount of properties we need and use them in all parts of the application. Plus, we can filter the releases by type or by any other custom field, like for instance, only hotfixes. And yeah, just to refine them and make more clean and more simple view. Another thing that we can track all changes of the release. Jira is not doing it, and if somebody will update the release date, nobody will recognize it because release date or any other field in the releases are not trackable. Also, we can just check transition and timing status, like the same, like or maybe not the same, just similar to what timing status team is doing for Jira tickets. So we're doing similar things for releases. And also, we can keep comments here to make all communication inside the single entity and do not use any other tools for that, just to kind of keep the single workspace. And another important thing that in a lot of cases, we need to deliver multiple releases in order to achieve business goal. Prime example is delivering for instance, Android, iOS application, backend, mobile application, data warehouse in order to deliver some business value. So we can use packages and we can package multiple releases into one big meta release, super release, and track progress of the super release as one big entity on the board. Here, I'm just showing my cybersecurity fortification project, and it consists of multiple releases. So then I can always jump between different levels and check release of each component, what is the progress, and I can check progress of the whole package and see how it is moving. And packages are represented on another board, and I can find my release here. Like you can see, a cybersecurity fortification project, I can open it and monitor status from this view, make it a bit more high level. And a very important thing, in addition to what I have mentioned before, is workflow. In release management, we can define the workflow, we can define the steps of our releases, we can map them to legacy, unreleased, and released statuses. So then when we will be moving release, we will do legacy change from unreleased to released, and all needed triggers in Jira will be started. And additionally to that, we can define transitions and we can define rules for transition. So we can ensure quality gates on the way and standardize our release management process across all the teams, just to let them do development according to their needs. And when the things will come to release, make standardization and unification of the process. And of course, automation. So we can extend Jira automation with some extra triggers. We can apply some condition. We can run some actions like calling webhook. For instance, we can just deploy something to some environment by just moving the card on release management, or maybe running another pipeline in continuous integration server, sending messages to Slack, Microsoft Teams, or we can invoke Jira automation to use the full power of Jira automation in synergy with release management. So as a result, we could be able to orchestrate and monitor all the releases in one place and make a little bit more high-level view. And Kanban board, which I just presented, is good for day-to-day work. But in some other cases, we may use another type of representation. It could be a representation as a roadmap. We can see a roadmap and see packages, versions. We can see dependencies. We can just move them to schedule across all the projects. So when I will be moving it, then it will be updated across the Jira. We can see delayed releases and use it as a powerful tool for our roadmap representation. And of course, we can add the same view to dashboard to make insightful dashboards for the management or for stakeholders. The same data could be shown as calendar. So we can make calendar. We can also pull it to Confluence, to dashboard. We can export it to Google, to Microsoft Outlook, and share it with all stakeholders and see all release-related events on this calendar. And of course, nice view is list view. We can get aggregation by different criteria, so by package, project, and get all the data, update it here, and export to Excel and use it for further processing, or maybe make a stream to EasyBI, Power BI, or any other analytic tools. So as a result, we can get overview and manage all releases. So this main functionality, but for comfortable use, we have some extra modules which can help with some connected activities. For instance, one of the activities which people don't like is generating release notes. It's usually paperwork, which everybody hates, at least from our clients' feedbacks. So we can make template, and we can create many templates, put some variables, and after that we can generate the document, and this document could be after that pushed to Confluence, and just in a few seconds we can create a document which we usually create for a much longer time. So in collecting all the data, and even upload to Confluence can standardize a way of storing the data. And a few other things which can simplify the life. First one is environment management. We can always see inventory of our environments, see what versions are deployed, what is inside of each version, and monitor, like if we deployed everything to all needed environments. It's super important in enterprise and in digital agency who are operating with many environments. And of course, we can synchronize components across multiple projects to keep inventory of the components unified. And here I would like to pay your attention on one important thing, that you may know that in Jira only a project admin can change release or component. And in release management, we implement a special permission which can grant this permission to only needed people. So you don't need to grant admin permission to everybody who need to work with releases and components. Just select special people, special permission to work with component or with releases or with both of them, and that's it. So actually, maybe just kind of get back to my presentation and just maybe quickly wrap up. We discussed a little bit about challenges, and also about product which can help to manage multiple release types, including cross-project releases. We can define a workflow, properties, automation. We can represent it as Kanban board, roadmap, calendar, list, generate release notes, manage environments and components. Of course, yeah, I believe that a lot of things and everything is at very high level. So if you believe that it resonates with your needs, feel free to scan QR code and schedule a demo session. We could be able to dive deep in your challenges. And also, yeah, you can find some benefits which we offer in scope of this webinar is discount and free consulting session to help analyze your release management process and identify ways to improve it. So yeah, thank you for your attention, and yeah, hope it resonates with your needs. And yeah, Chad, over to you.
Awesome. Thank you, Yuri. It was some great stuff. Alrighty, we are going to round it out now. 1 second. We are going to be talking to our friends at GitProtect by Exopero1. So the session is going to be Eliminate Oops Moments, Reliable Backup, and DR Strategy for Jira. And I will pass it over to Greg.
Yes, good evening, everyone, as there is 5 minutes after 6 p.m. here in Poland. And thank you, Chad, for the introduction. So, as Chad says, we are going to talk about oops moments and how to recover from such situation when we lost some kind of data from our Jira. So let's start with the presentation. Guys, some of you has the microphone turned on and I can hear you. So could you please mute your microphones? Okay, thank you, perfect. So let's continue with the webinar and with the whoops moment. Let me ask if the lost project is the only reason to back up your Jira. So I've got some poll prepared for you. And Yuri, thank you so much for running this poll before. So right now I've got my answers ready, and 56% of you says that you lost your Jira data. So let me share the result for a while with you. And I believe right now you can see your answers. So 60% of you said that you ever lost any Jira data. And I've got also pretty similar story related to the Jira project. I don't know if you're using Jira Product Discovery to manage your releases, or you use Release Manage app, which Yuri just talked about. So still in Zopro, we work with Jira Product Discovery, and once I have to change something on the board where features and releases are presented, and I had to remove one of the filter applied. Instead of removing the filter, I just remove one field from every issue. So it was total disaster because this field was assigning the features to some, let's say, release times, release quarters. So what I need to do, I had, hopefully for me, I had backup in place and I was able easily to restore the backup project. But let's take a look and let's close the poll. Let's take a look if lost project is the only reason to backup your Jira. So first of all, probably you heard about huge outage which took place around 2 years ago. So there were two teams responsible for migrating Jira instances, and they had some misunderstandings in configuration. So in the result of this misunderstanding, the team responsible for removing customer instances removed too much, around 800 instances too much were removed, and in the result, those customers were not able to access their data for a few days. We know about the customer who waited for their data more than 2 weeks. So even if you are sure that you won't make mistake, you're not human but robot, and you're not making mistakes, still someone else could make such a mistake, and in result you can lose your data. But hey, they restore those data, so maybe they have some backups of your Jira instance in place. And obviously, yes, they have. They have your backups in place. The backups are done on the infrastructure level, but unfortunately, they cannot use their backups to restore your instance in case you made some issues, in case you made some problems, not wanted changes, in case you delete some kind of data. And we experienced this with one of our users. Before he made backups, he removed some data. Unfortunately, he overwrites some data on his Jira instance, and those data were not backed up because it was before his first initial backup. So we were not able to recover his data. We contacted with Atlassian, and unfortunately, we and customer get exactly the same answer. We cannot restore your data as it was because of the user action. So what Jira says, what Atlassian says about data and responsibility. I don't know if you heard before about shared responsibility model. Almost every SaaS vendor has shared responsibility model or limited liability model, depends on the naming, but carefully read every time terms of service, especially for SaaS applications. Why? Because with shared responsibility model, the service provider is responsible for providing the service, for hosting, for its availability, for its efficiency, but not for the data. The data and its security still is on you as the end user. So that's why every vendor, including Atlassian, has this shared responsibility model implemented, and you can easily find this information also on their website. Even this slide, the screen comes directly from their site, and I believe after the meeting we will share with you our slides, and you can find direct links to those information on Atlassian site. Also, few months ago, I was waiting on my flight to Warsaw to one of the security conferences. And you know how it is when you're sitting at the airport and you're scrolling your LinkedIn. So I just start scrolling the LinkedIn and I found this post. Luan was looking for someone from Atlassian because he was not able to access his Jira for 6 counting days. So I don't even want to imagine what may happen to my team and in our work if we lost access to our Jira for 6 counting days. I believe one day is not a big deal. Everyone knows what to do, but after then, how to manage all processes, how to pass tasks and their progress to others, how to manage issues and pull requests, I don't know. So if you want to be as Luan, you must make backup. But of course, there are a few other reasons that, let's say, were some kind of edge cases, maybe except shared responsibility model, which is pretty obvious case. So there are some external threats awaiting for your data. Maybe I haven't heard about any ransomware which is running on Jira, but I'm quite sure it's just about the time when such ransomware or other malware will appear to access to remove your Jira data and ask maybe for some crazy ransom to give your data back. Everyone makes mistakes, as I said before, so you can just remove some data just by mistake, or maybe there might be some bad actor at your company and he will just decide to remove some of your important data. Another reason is, of course, legal and compliance. Everyone wants to have some nice looking certificates and standards that are sometimes even required by our businesses. And if you'll take a look, most of them requires from you to protect every crucial system to continue your business, which Jira usually obviously is. So that's another reason why you should back up your Jira. So how to be prepared for such a disaster? Of course, first of all, you should cover all data with your backup solution. So in case of Jira, it's not only about the issues, about the project, but also about attachments, whole configuration, and everything else, which allows you quickly recover your entire instance in terms of any disaster. It's very important also to have to make the backup with the highest performance as possible. I don't know if you're familiar with 3-to-1 backup rule, but this rule says to keep 3 copies of your data in 2 different locations and at least 1 outside of the company or in general outside the source of your data. So when talking about backup performance and backing up data from SaaS services, please keep in mind this 3-to-1 backup rule should be realized over the replication to deal with some API issues, because obviously under the hood API is used to fetch the data from Jira and other services. In terms of disaster recovery and in general, in terms of backup solution, usually we are searching for backup possibilities. But first of all, we just have to take a look at recovery possibilities. And the most important is disaster recovery. You must be able to recover the entire Jira instance in case of an outage, any mistakes made, maybe not by you, but Atlassian team, and so on. So just make sure your backups allows you to restore the entire Jira, and do not make your backups manually, because from the experience and statistics, we know that manual backups are usually half-year-old. So now let's think about your Jira from the March this year and the state of your tasks, projects, and everything else. Most of the data you can find there are useless, or I hope are useless, because it means that your work is going pretty well and pretty fast. And when we are talking about the backups, of course, we cannot forget about the security. First of all, keep in mind every backup solution must access to your production data, because you are obviously backing up the production data. So it must securely manage every credential and secret which is necessary to access to your data, and moreover, your backups also should be encrypted, because still we are talking about one of the most important data, which are your production ones, of course. So I'm just quickly running because I can see I'm only few minutes left, so let me make 3 minutes demo. So I'm going quickly move to GitProtect, which is our solution for Jira backups. I'm not going even to show you how easily it is to integrate with Jira. So let me jump quickly into my Jira instance. Here is my Jira with 15 users, 19 projects, and three different backup plans. How easy it is to set up the backup plan? I just need to press assign button and choose new plan. Then I can name my backup plan like App Alliance webinar, for example. We can easily choose the Jira organization. Of course, there is just one Jira already added. I was prepared to add one more, but I don't want to extend our time. Then we have to decide about the data coverage. With GitProtect, we cover in total 86 different resources from your Jira. So as you can see, there are not only projects and issues, but way more data is covered. We can also easily enable granular restore. So if we would like to have this ability to recover single project, single issue, or even single attachment, we can use this option. Every time you can choose where you would like to store your data. You can store them directly in GitProtect, but of course, to meet, for example, a 3-to-1 backup rule, you can assign your own backup storages. And of course, you've got full control over the scheduler, so it's up to you when and how often your Jira is baked up. And of course, from the one of quite important things in terms of data backup, we cannot forget about encryption. So with GitProtect, you can encrypt your backup on fly directly on source before they are submitted to the backup storage using AES algorithm, which is still unbreakable. So I'm not going to create a backup plan to run because obviously it may take some time, but let me show you maybe what resources we can protect. So I'm just going to quickly run to my last backup task of this Jira instance. And here, if I press show all resources, oh, something wrong happened, but here on status details, you can see more resources that are protected. And let me quickly jump back to my Jira to show you how easy it is to restore. So here I've got my available backup plans that has been already performed. Let me choose Jira Granular, let's say. I won't trigger the restore process, so it shouldn't take too long. And there is Granular Restore. To origin, for example, organization, we can restore easily project issues, attachments, and workflows. In the near future, we are going, of course, to add more resources. You can recover granularly, but what's important in terms of granular restore, for example, we can easily restore as a new one, but I cannot choose it because I don't have any other organization. But what I would like to show you, you can decide to not restore users. So you can restore the entire Jira organization, for example, as a sandbox to test something, to extract some data, to work on your Jira issues in the sandbox easily without any additional fees and charges, because as you obviously know, Jira is charged on a user basis. And thank you guys so much. That's almost all from my side. So after the demo, let me ask if you have any questions. So it's your time to ask some questions. I don't know if anyone says, but here on GoToWebinar app, we've got question and answer panel, which you can use to ask any questions. And in the meantime, I just would like to let you know that you can get 10% off for your Jira backup using the code you can see on the screen. And of course, you can find GitProtect easily in the Jira Marketplace. And let me check if there are any questions. I can't see the questions. So if I can't see any questions, that's all from me. Thank you, and may the backup be with you.
Awesome. Greg, thank you so much. And that concludes the sessions and the demos. So hopefully everyone got a lot out of it. I know I did. I learned a ton. So just a couple of housekeeping things. We are going to be pass the recording off to everybody in an email. We will have some follow-up indirectly from each of the apps as well. So be on the lookout for that. But I do want to end it with a Q&A session. So if anybody has questions, feel free, for any of the speakers today, feel free to throw them in the chat. So I'll give you a couple minutes to do that. Not seeing anything come through. Does any of the other apps or speakers have anything any questions or comments? If not, we will give everyone time back. Alrighty. Well, that concludes our webinar today. Like I said, we will follow up with any questions. Please feel free to email us or follow up with us directly. But want to thank everyone for joining us today. Awesome session. Hopefully there'll be more of these as well. But once again, thank you to all the apps and thank you to the audience. We will be in touch and check us out for more coming up. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone.